What if the weather is not conducive for you getting outside? Is there anything you can do to work on your health, wellness, and performance? Absolutely. Let's take a look. For those of you that are hyper competitive, think about on a race day, what can have a negative impact on your performance? Really stop and think about it. Let me ask you to look at it at another level of complexity. How many non-sweating components, if you think about your skills, if you think about we refer to it as a skills box. As you open up that skills box, what non-sweating components influence your performance? I'll give you an example. When was the last time you thought about diaphragmically breathing? The ability to breathe through your diaphragm, particularly when you're under a lot of stress. Now again, stress can be taken out of context. I'm not talking about the stress of winning a race. I'm not talking about the stress of sponsors and family and friends and expectations. I'm talking about the stress of high temperature, the stress of high humidity, the stress of a long day of racing. Stress has a completely different connotation. Well, if you recognize that breathing through your diaphragm is going to increase the amount of oxygen in the blood, and you do that early, you're able to go faster for a longer period of time before you become tired. That's a non-sweating component, i.e. you can practice that without breaking a sweat anytime, anywhere. What about your ability to mentally focus? Let's say that you're in a highly competitive environment. We do quite a bit in the motocross world. Let's say that the race weekend is over and you're frustrated with yourself because you said so-and-so got in your head. When was the last time you focused on a black dot? To be almost like literally, as we joke about, putting on horse blinders to where you get to a point where you don't even recognize anybody else is there. You're so mentally focused that all you're working on is optimizing your biomechanics, you're breathing through your belly, you're giving your body everything it needs. You're so mentally focused you don't miss that cadence of when you're supposed to hit your calories on the bike during a triathlon. You're so focused on your biomechanics that even though you're getting tired during a run, you're still falling forward, you're still landing on midfoot. It takes mental focus, and that mental focus is going to complement the physical. When's the last time you worked on your mental focus? A non-sweating component that can have either a negative or a positive influence on your race day performance. Some people would argue with me that foam rolling is a very stressful situation. You may break a sweat when you're doing foam rolling, but compared to going out and physically exercising, I think you would agree that foam rolling is a non-sweating component associated with optimizing performance. If I spend 5 minutes and I've got a tennis ball under my foot while I'm sitting at my desk working, checking emails, I'm now working on soft tissue. For those of you who run, that's your contact point. When's the last time you got a foot massage? For those of you that ride moto, your feet and your hands, when's the last time you gave yourself a hand massage? When you're sitting at your desk, maybe have a tennis ball underneath your glutes. It's a very strong stabilizer muscle. You hear that the glutes have to fire to have good hip posture and range of motion, sport-specific range of motion. These are things that are non-sweating components, but if you have optimized range of motion on race day, you're going to be faster and you're going to be able to maintain it for a longer period of time before you get tired. What about actually taking a nap? Right? You can't get outside, you can't do something physical. What about catching a 2-hour power nap? Now your body releases HGH and testosterone because you get into that deep REM 3. You just got an extra shot. You got an extra day of HGH and testosterone. Think about it. If you get into deep sleep every night, let's say you do that 7 consecutive days, you've got 7 days of recovery hormones, testosterone, HGH. Now you add a nap in those same 7 days, now you've gotten 8. See how it's the non-sweating components that make a big difference on race day. Another one that I want you to think about is actually sitting down and prepping some food or sitting down and consuming some food. Maybe, we're always busy. One of the biggest complaints that I hear is, I'm too busy to eat, I'm too busy to sleep. Well, if the weather is inclement outside and you can't quote unquote train, and you can't go outside the way you want to, think about the other elements associated with being healthy and being fast. I could do another hour's worth of conversations, but I just want to give you some of the big ones that you can be working on. For those of you who have listened to any of my videos about proprioceptive balance, you could, while you're at the grocery store, you could be standing on one leg. While you're prepping the food that we were just talking about, you could be standing on one leg and working on proprioceptive balance. So I hope that when the question comes up, hey, there's nothing that I can do today because the weather's bad, now you have a couple ideas on what you can work on. And the beautiful part is when you get to the high quality, the difficult workouts, you're going to be able to tap into this. When you go racing, you're going to be able to tap into it. And that's one of the things people have a tendency to do is they'll step over $1 to pick up a penny. And I hope that this video has helped kind of clarify that. I want to thank you first and foremost for stopping by and watching this video. If you haven't subscribed, I would encourage you to do so. Turn on the notifications. We do put out a video every day, and I want you to be one of the first to know it's available. If you happen to have any questions that I might be able to address, do me a favor and drop me an email. contact@coachrobb.com. As I said, we put out a video every day here on YouTube, and we hope to see you tomorrow.